we're going to talk about another way to solve quadratics, solving quadratics using square roots. So some quadratics can be solved by factoring. So this is what we've been doing, where if you had a quadratic equation that looked like this, you would break it down. And this is an easy case, x and x. What multiplies to give us 5, that adds to give us 6, you would find x plus 1 and x plus 6, and you would be done. You could actually find your final y values to be, or x values to be x equals -1 here and x equals -6 here, because if you remember, you take the opposite of whatever is inside the parentheses. Others can be solved by using square roots. And that's what we're going to talk about today. The quadratics you can solve using square roots are those whose b value, or remember this middle number, equals 0. In other words, you have no b value. So let's look at a few. Alright, so x squared minus 100 equals 0. So we can do this, we know how to do this by just breaking it down like this. X minus 10, x plus 10. That's going to give you x squared minus 100, because if we multiplied it back through, it's going to cause these middle values to cancel out, leaving you with x squared minus 100, which is what we started with. So how do we do it using square roots? Well, instead of having this x squared minus 100 equals 0, we're going to move our 100 to the other side and make it x squared equals 100. Well, now we have a simple algebraic equation, which we know how to solve. We have x squared, we want x. What are we going to do? Take the square root. We have 100 on this side. We took the square root on one side. Whatever we do to one side of an equation, we do to the other. Square root of 100 is positive and negative 10. Because remember, you can do positive 10 times positive 10 or negative 10 times negative 10. You must include them both. We want two values. Just like we would have gotten if we had pulled our x values out of here. We would have gotten positive 10 and negative 10. Okay, so that was an easy one. Let's look at another one. I'm going to move my 19 over so that I now have x squared equals 19. I want x. So, square root of x on this side, square root of 19 on this side. Now, 19 is not a perfect square. It doesn't break down perfectly. So you can actually leave your answer as square root of 19. And you want to make it plus or minus the square root of 19. Notice, again, plus and minus. But still, pretty simple. No b value. All right? Let's look at another. Okay, so this one gets a little more complicated. Let's go ahead and start out by moving our 31 over. So now we have 3x squared equals 31. But we still can't solve it just yet. We've got to get rid of this 3. So I'm going to divide it on this side. I'm going to divide it on this side. I'm going to have x squared equals 31 over 3. All right, I'm still looking for x by itself. So I'm going to take the square root of x here. And I'm going to take the square root over here. And I'm going to leave it just like that. Even though it's an improper fraction, it's okay. And I want plus and minus square root of 31 over 3. Here's my two factors. Remember, every quadratic factors out to have two answers. Okay? Let's do one more. This one looks even more complicated. So let's start solving our equation. 1/3 x squared is going to equal 13. Now, I want to get rid of my 1/3. So to get rid of a fraction, we multiply by the reciprocal. And in this case, the reciprocal is 3. So we are now going to have x squared equals 39. So what do we do from here? Take the square root of both sides. And again, 39 is one of those numbers that does not break down perfectly. So we'll have x equals plus or minus square root of 39. Two factors once again. This is how you factor a quadratic using square roots.